There are many conservationists and scientists who are working to improve the health of the Great Barrier Reef, as well as some who are attempting to repair damage to the Great Barrier Reef. But my next guest has actually worked out how to do it already, and it'll only take 5 minutes. Well, that's because it's virtual reality. A team of PhD candidates at Griffith Uni have designed a virtual reality experience for tourists visiting the Great Barrier Reef. And they get to look around on the reef and take on little tasks to keep it healthy and safe. EcoGames founder Associate Professor Alexandra Coghlan is behind the device that will feature on some tour boats that are leaving from Cairns Point. The doctor is with me now this morning. Good morning, Alexandra. So what's the basic idea of what, can I even call it a game?
Yes, it's definitely a game. It's very much a game. So the idea behind it is that on the way back from the reef, after tourists have seen the Great Barrier Reef itself, we're introducing this virtual reality game where tourists basically build up their own reef from an empty seascape. So you get corals to build with, and you unlock corals as you go, and then depending on how you build your reef, different marine species will move in. So first fish will move in, and then we'll sort of move up towards turtles, manta rays, sharks, etc. And then as you get really good at building your reef, we start to introduce little threats. So we start off with a very gentle little threat. Little sea urchin will come in and munch on corals that have been left alone for too long. And then we move into sort of mini bleaching events, crown of thorns. We'll start introducing plastics, et cetera, et cetera. And then it's up to the player to manage those threats and manage the health of that reef to keep it really healthy and beautiful and biodiverse.
So it's actually 3D, Alexandra. Does that mean that people put on a headset and it can actually, they're immersed in 360-degree three dimensions?
Yes, and that's a really good medium for the reef because obviously as an underwater environment, a lot of people won't go diving. They'll see it from the surface and you don't... You might miss some things if you're at the surface. You might miss some things while you're diving. So by putting people in a headset, it's all graphics, it's all animations. It's not video, it's animations and graphics. People kind of get to explore the reef from inside, underwater, at their own pace. And we kind of allow them to pause on maybe like a cleaner raft, cleaning station, maybe dusky gregory protecting its patch of algae or algal garden, those kinds of things.
Okay, so look, I mean, how actually easy is it? I mean, the people who are doing it, were they having success in managing to do the little bits that you need to do to try and protect the reef?
Yes, so we actually find that kids just devour it as if it was like a fast food meal. They just get through it quickly. It can take up to about 40 minutes to get to the point of getting a shark into your reef. So that's kind of the ultimate stage right now is having a reef because the shark's an apex predator. So that's kind of when your reef is really healthy and looking good and biodiverse, the shark will move in. We also find that sort of the 50-plus age group absolutely love it because they're looking after their reef. They're making something which is beautifully, aesthetic and beautiful. And they're sort of figuring out as they go, well, that works, that didn't work, why didn't that work? Let's try this. And so you kind of really get to explore the mechanisms of the ecosystem as well as the biodiversity in the reef.
And what effect does it actually have on the mindset of the people who play the game, Alexandra, in terms of what actions they might take after having done so?
So they're definitely more curious about the reef. They all express a strong curiosity. They start to ask Lewis and I a lot of questions about the reef, and they want to explore the reef a lot more, which then translates into, I'd like to come back. But the really exciting thing for us is we did a little mini experiment comparing the gameplay, which can be up to an hour, with a 360 virtual reality video, which kind of had the same components, had a manta ray, had some information about the manta ray, etc. And then we gave people a choice of 3 thank yous. We said either, would you like to have a drink on us at the bar on the boat? Would you like to go into a prize draw to win your own headset? Or would you like to give $10 to the Cairns Turtle Conservation Rehab Centre? And more people playing the game wanted to give to the Cairns Turtle Rehab Centre than watching the video. So by engaging people in the game, by allowing people to build up their own reef, to develop that attachment to their reef, to take care of their own reef, they're actually starting to translate into real-world actions. Which
could be then actions that continue for a long period after the actual time that they've been out there.
Absolutely, yes. So that's what we're hoping for. So the next stage of product development that we're entering into now is introducing what we're calling conservation microdonations. So as you're playing the game, you might have quite a difficult way of managing those threats, quite a painful and slow way of managing them. Or we could do an in-game conservation donations, like a $2 donations to get a COTS diver in to eliminate crown of thorns starfish. And then that would translate through to, we would feed that directly back into conservation groups working on the reef. So it would be an extended gameplay. People would keep playing it, like your place in City, for instance. And then we'd also be able to target if there was something specific happening on the reef or there was a conservation group really needing extra funds at that time, we could tailor the gameplay to kind of match that need.
And can you tailor the gameplay to different languages?
So currently what we're trying to do is we're trying to eliminate the need to actually have instructions in it in any language. So we've got a wonderful bump-headed parrotfish who helps players navigate their reef. And we also try and make it as intuitive as possible so that people are kind of figuring out on their own what they need to do. So the bump-headed parrotfish guides you a little bit. And then you also, by trial and error, you start to see what works, what doesn't work. And you really you get to discover it on your own, which I think is the beautiful thing about it.
And so where might we see it roll out across more of the operators out there?
Yeah, that's what we're aiming for. So we're currently partnering up with Associated Prize Accelerator Program through Impact Boom, and we've had fantastic support from the industry up there, Passions of Paradise, Reef Teach. All of those guys have been wonderfully supportive, as well as Dive Queensland, Gabrumpa. So the next stage is to be able to get it out to market. That's really what we're working on right now. So hopefully by the end of the year, we can have it on as many boats as want to use it. We can also roll it out into schools, aged care groups where, people really enjoy playing it, aquarium museums. There's lots of opportunities. Ultimately, what we want to have is we want to have a free game that's downloadable on a smartphone to really extend that impact so that anybody playing it anywhere could start using those conservation microdonations and ramp up the scale of the impact.
Great stuff. Sounds fantastic. Look, thanks for sharing it with us this morning.
Thank you.
That's Associate Professor Alexandra Coghlan from the team at Griffith Uni who have got that VR app rolling out in a number of the boats, hopefully soon. 8 minutes away from 9 o'clock. Now to the Kuranda Range. If you drive on the range regularly, you will have heard the message to slow down because despite the efforts of Main Roads to deter the threatened cassowary from getting